Hi, this is Jim, and this is Second Chance, a Moped podcast. And welcome everybody to another week of Second Chance Moped podcast. Oh, mopeds. They are, oh shoot, my computer's making noises. Oh, whatever. Mopeds are rad. Like, I had some bummer news this week, kids, and everybody in the moped land. Everybody knows about my, I don't drink, and some of that stuff I do. I help others not do it. And one of my guys, they call it like they got a word for it, and most of us maybe have heard it through Hollywood, but I don't want to get too detailed on it. One of my guys died this week. He OD'd, and I hadn't seen him. I hadn't seen him for about a year, and I knew it sucks. It sucks because I think we've all known somebody or had somebody in our lives where you saw the train wreck happening, and you couldn't say anything to them, but just stay there and try to be their friend and try to have a hand there for when they're ready. And my dad, this is kind of ironic too. He would say a lot of the times, I can reach you, I just can't feel you. My dad passed away 20 something years ago on the 10th. So like all kind of with this week, but we're not going to have this whole downer kind of show because I don't do downers. I got to take my mommy out for steaks last night. It was her birthday. So we have some great news. Like, my mom and my niece share the same birthday, April 11th. So that made me pretty happy. And I finally got my TX I've been talking about, kids. I've been half-heartedly looking for a TX for a while because I need another project. And Jason called me from Moped Monday, and I'm like, hey, who the hell calls anybody anymore? Like, okay, I pick up, talk. I'm gonna get a TX in Nashville if I can go, because now there's a possibility I might not go to Nashville because my company is bringing in a new piece of equipment from Winnipeg, Canada, and it's showing up the 29th. But in theory, if we get everything done at work, I'll be able to leave that Thursday because it'll be all riggers and specialized people who move multi-million-dollar pieces of equipment, and I would just be in the way. I had to get my coffee sipping there. But I got to ride mopeds. I got to ride both my mopeds and my DR Hobbit that I've dubbed my Phoenix bike, because that's what's pretty much left of my crash bike, which I don't know what's left of. Anyways, that thing is just singing right now. Like, I can just hold that thing wide open throttle, 320 degrees, and just, for miles and miles, like 2 miles, just wide open throttle on a DR kit. Like, I've got it kind of dialed in right now, and it's not the fastest thing, but it's good enough for me. And then my my fast Hobbit, I was talking with Eric from QCB last night, and I'm like, dude, I hate spring in Minnesota because I chase my tail until the humidity picks up in Minnesota. Then, like, bikes have power, for me at least. Like, I go, I can only get 59 out of it. He's like, dude, you're an asshole. Like, 59 mile an hour is pretty damn fast. I'm like, yeah, I could have played with jets more because I'm still lean. But then I realized I'm dedicating 45 minutes to an hour every night to work on my Baker's bike, and I'm making great headway. Got the bottom end assembled last night. Now I'm just working on my squish, and then just trying to multiply that by 3. Hopefully, I have that all assembled and like road worthy by Sunday. But like, and I go back and forth. Like, do I paint it? Do I, like, my initial idea for the whole deal was like hot pink frame, murder black, everything else. Like, I just like that idea. Like, it's just like the old off-road trucks, like from the 80s. Like, they always had like some type of lime green, but I won't do lime green because green is, I'm superstitious, and for racing, green was always bad luck. so I can't do lime green, but I do hot pink. So get back, holler at your boy. We'll see what happens. God, I'm so excited for what's to be this year. And speaking of new things and new experiences and new places, I got to go out to Santa Fe and got to ride around there, and the goat heads are so freaking rad. And I gotta do some more exploring that southwest. I wanted to say southeast, but southwest. Because there's a like, it's different, but it's rad. And I noticed God, it was almost a year ago, I want to say, like this one club out of the Southwest, like their logo pop up on Instagram, and I'm always searching for different things in mopeds, different scenes, different clubs. And I saw this and I kind of chit chat with this person, and then it was probably me not following up. I'll take the hit on that. And then like I saw them posting like some ride stuff. And this is like, I remember, everybody, I'm still very new to the scene of mopeds. So like in my eyes, this is a dead territory. Like, I mean, it really, for me, it was like, I never heard anybody kicking up dust in this area. But I know I'll be proven wrong. And I just want to let my guest introduce himself now.
Hey, my name's Jason. I guess I run the Cobra Kings Instagram page, and also sort of Cobra Kings here in Phoenix, Arizona. Sort of picked up where the Tom Cruisers left off, because I started hanging out with the Cruisers right at the tail end of them doing whatever they were doing. That's
right
where
on, dude.
My story started.
So Jason, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'll fuck it up. This is gonna be one of those podcasts. Like, throw your name. Do me a favor, any future guests, because like my body's gone to summer mode where I'm getting like 4 hours of sleep now a night. Like I'm crazy. I'm out of hibernation, and like my ADD is a little. I'm drinking coffee to level out the ADD.
Yes.
But like, I'll forget a name. I'll never forget a face or a story or anything like that. But names, it's just too many head injuries. What can I say?
Hey,
but
understandable.
Yeah. But Jason, here on Second Chance Moped Podcast, we go through people's moped journeys, i.e., the very first time they ever saw a moped, to smile ride, middle part, what's like today. So, Jason, let me ask you this: what was your very first memory? Not necessarily getting on, but like you can conceptually know that is a moped.
I'm going to tell you this because I am a kid of the 80s.
Nice.
Born in 81. I was 7 years old.
Okay.
So when the whole angst of sort of when mopeds was still a thing, I remember seeing my camp counselor at summer camp cruising on a black, it was a Maxi Newport.
Okay, you even knew the kind. That's awesome.
Oh yeah,
dude.
I still remember all of that little detail because I remember being, I think, 8 or 9, being like, man, that's the coolest mother in the neighborhood.
Yeah, you can swear on here. Don't worry. We don't get enough attention to anybody gets barking at me. Dude, that's awesome. Because like for me, the first moped here's a secret, folks. The first moped I ever remember seeing was yellow, but I don't know what it was. And I know the people who had it, and I'm sure if I want to go back and like figure out what it is, but I don't want to know. Like I think I know what it is, but no, it doesn't matter. So like that's awesome, Jason. And I'm guessing your camp counselor was the 80s, but I'm sure he was halfway responsible and didn't let you ride it.
Oh no, yeah. I'm saying I was 8, so he was probably all of 17.
I was gonna say 15, 16. Yeah,
exactly. His name was Jeff, and I know he lived in the neighborhood, and his older brother actually did the paper route, so he was the paper boy of the neighborhood. So where I grew up in the East Coast, in Bowie was the city, sort of 30 minutes outside of DC area.
Okay, right on.
So, and honestly, that bike with how that calligraphy sticker was, that's what stuck out, was like that sort of deal. And I knew, and then little bits and pieces after I got older and sort of started seeing what it was, like, oh, that's what that was. Because I had no idea at that age what it was. But later on in life, I was like, oh, that's what that is. And I was like, I gotta find it. I gotta find one.
2 and 2 click. That's so great, dude. That really is. So obviously you're not riding. You're doing your summer camp thing growing up. what was the first time you ever got on like a two-wheeled vehicle? It doesn't necessarily have to be mopeds because I get it. Like, not
Mhm,
everybody's gonna jump on mopeds. Like, honestly, my first like two-wheel bike was like I think it was like a KX80, like drunk as
mhm,
hell at my buddy's farm. Like,
mhm.
yeah,
Well, grew up all BMX riding bikes, so it was
yeah,
always two wheels. Always get on my bike, I'm out. That was my source of freedom as a kid, and at that age, you could pretty much have angst of work to
yeah.
come back, all that jazz. And then I want to say middle school, we ended up moving out, and when we moved and got some lands from where we were, and my parents, we all were like, man, we're moving out to the country, this and that. But they were like, all
Gonna
right,
grow
we
me a
moved.
lot of peaches.
Yeah, well, it was corn. It was all corn stalks and tobacco. Where I moved to was Upper Marlboro, Maryland. So you can
Okay,
only imagine at some point what was grown in
yeah.
southern Maryland area there. So then we moved, and it was a '78. It was a Yamaha DT 110.
Okay.
So it
Oh, dude, those are fun.
had lights, had turn signals at that time. And I don't want all this stuff. But man, I've been trying to find now that bike for the longest time. And they do pop up those old like late '70s, early '80s stuff around here in Arizona where it isn't so beat to shit for
Yeah.
the most part.
Is it? See, that's weird to me. Like, I would imagine things are beat to shit there because you guys have 12 months of riding season, but maybe you just like don't. Maybe they're not as hard on stuff because like we're insane in the northern part of the country. Like we gotta get out, we gotta beat the hell out, we gotta have fun. Blah, blah, blah. Like I can tell you, like my bikes this year were like they were definitely rode hard and put away wet, if you will, because like
Yes.
my
Yes.
fast hobbit, like I completely went through that thing, like subframes, frame, tank, like everything, shocks. Yeah, don't even get me going. But
I don't think it's just the area. So, excuse me. It's There's no salt, there's no snow, so there's none of that. So
yeah,
things when people set things out, it just sits there, and
yeah,
then if it does get rusty or whatever, it's just surface rust.
yeah, yeah.
I've pulled bikes out from places, and then they're like, man, all it is a little SOS pad, and just take that surface rust off, and it's fine. Rims out here, they'll look all pitted. A little bit, 15, 20 minutes of just scrubbing and rubbing that thing. Oh, they're super shiny.
Isn't
So,
SOS pads just amazing? Like just that little vinegar in a bottle,
yeah.
clean. Yeah.
I use just soap, really, just a little
Oh,
bit
do
of
you,
soap and water. Yeah, just soap and water, and
dude?
it seems to
Awesome.
do everything well.
Yeah.
But
Awesome, dude.
that would be the first, time I was on something, and then after that, it progressed. Later, I got a CR 125. Um, that had a like FMF Gold Series pipe, all that. I had three younger
Snappy.
brothers. Yeah. I
Yeah.
loved it. I remember one time in my backyard, we had 7 acres, and then my
Mhm.
house sat in the front, and all of it was plowed, so it was all just field. And I would rip around sort of the out perimeter of it.
Mhm.
I could at the most third gear wide open across my yard is all I would get, but I'm
Yeah.
just all day long.
Yeah.
And I'm tooling around, and this dude, I'll hear whoop 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 whoop. I said, "What is this?" A dude in a XR 600, like I think it's the big XR. I don't know what it is, but it's the big bike,
Yeah.
4-speed. Just
Yeah.
comes rooting out of my yard from nowhere,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Yeah, I heard you like several, he was not miles.
Oh yeah. Well,
as a kid, I
dude,
felt he was a
noise
miles away.
travels. Yeah.
Yeah. And he just came tooling up, and he was like, "Yeah, I just heard you around." I was like, "Oh," and he's like, "All right, what?" And just takes off. Yeah. I was like, "Man, I like that guy," because that's the sense of two wheels. And where I was in Upper Marlboro, there's trails. You could run miles and miles of
Okay.
trails because it was all just farmland.
Yeah. And I
So
didn't like that
fun.
north part. I haven't gotten the opportunity to explore that part of the country that much. Like I did kind of go through northern New York on the way out to
Mhm.
pick up some bikes this year, but like it's pretty rad up there, and I wish I might get out there and explore the summer, but like my summer's packed already. Like I want to get
Yeah.
out. I want to get out to Philly for LGN and like take a couple extra days to just pop in here, pop in there. But we'll see. So you're up there, you know, living like sounds like a pretty rad existence, just like getting to tool around, like being like I grew up out in the country myself, like southern
Mhm.
Minnesota, farmland all over. Yeah, yeah.
Everyone waves. Everybody waves.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
the
God. No,
greatest thing.
no. It's
That's it.
the two finger salute, dude. You
Yeah,
go down
yeah,
Main Street, it's right off the steering wheel. It's the two finger. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It don't matter who it is. It's just,
I
those
can go
things in
back.
my.
I can go back to the hometown I grew up in, and that shit will happen like tonight. And it's hilarious. And like, they don't know me. Like, my family had a last name like 30 years ago in this town. Not anymore. Nobody knows who Henrys are anymore. Like,
Yeah.
unless you're, it's funny.
That's just how it is in sort of that area. I remember when it snowed, we couldn't get out on my dirt road until my neighbor came up with a tractor and plowed us out because
Yeah.
my dirt road was, several hundred yards off of the main road. So
Yeah.
it's sort of that hospitality, I guess.
Yeah,
and
dude.
we're in southern Maryland. I'm trying. Have you ever been towards DC? You know where Richmond is.
Yeah, I know where Richmond is. Yeah, I've kind of skirted by there, but like it was all highway and.
Yes, if you ever took 301 that came from Richmond up on the East Coast, you would have scooped through that southern Maryland. You can go up 95 and cut over, or like 301 and up.
I've been to Bel Air, Maryland, if that means anything to you. Like Matty Bozo place in Chelsea is like I'm still an idiot. I was so fried from my trip, like I didn't ride with them at all. Like I'm an idiot, but whatever.
Let's see, the Bel Air is in northern Maryland area. I wondered, but Matty now he's in Richmond, right? He's in Virginia. I know because I don't want to say there's a honey hole of a spot because I remember still in where I grew up, the bike shop that I went to as a kid was our local. It was the moped shop. They had mopeds hanging up or whatnot, and it's in the older part of town. But that building's still there, and it's still a bike shop, and it's still been just like passed down from family to family. And truly, I want to go see if they have all the tools because they probably still do. Because I had my brothers because my brothers still live back east, and they cut through there, and they're like, "Oh, yep, still there. Guy's still a dick, though." I'm like, I gotta go. Because he sort of knows what he has, but he doesn't.
Oh yeah.
It's an old bike shop.
He's one of those people, I swear to God, that are like 65 on up. Yep. All their crap is worth gold. Even though it's rotting away and not worth anything. I mean, it's worth something, but it's like, dude, it's not doing any good just sitting on a shelf getting dusty. Why don't you allow somebody to enjoy it? Because you never will. Like,
yeah, no, for sure. And you can, if you ever come to Arizona, I'll take you to a place called Bob's Cycle. It's like the motorcycle junkyard. There's tons of stuff. And you'll go be like, how much you want for this? And it's like $300. I mean, it's like a rusty tank. I'm like, come on, man. Like, why? Like, I'm trying to do. I remember going there over a course of 4 months to get this revival, whatever we want to call it. The things that everyone strips the rear end off of and the front end off of, which I have the frame now sitting there with nothing over. So it took me 6 months of going back and forth. And I finally went in there and I was like, here, $100. Yeah. And then it wasn't the one guy I initially was talking to, but he's like, look at me, like, all right, that seems fair. And I was like, yes, but it took 6 months of just going back, and then showing probably that, hey, this guy is interested in this. Like, all right, he might do something. All right, cut him a deal. But dude, how many acres? You can Google map it. It's just like, you have to know where pods of, all right, all the new stuff comes in here. All right, maybe there's some stuff, because it's Arizona, people ride. So there's tons of street bikes, tons of choppers. But you can find little things. I found KX65 like subframes and motors. Like, all right, I could do something with this. And those things are scattered through there. So there's things to be had, but you just have to show that, all right, I really want this, and I'm going to do my time to get this from you.
Well, like that's the way Sport Wheels is up in Minnesota, but like they didn't store. It's huge, but like it's kind of annoying because like they didn't store anything really that correctly. So like all the motorcycle gas tanks are rusted inside. And it's like all the moped stuff, like, and it's Minnesota, so we have weeds here. Like it's all grown over in vines, and it's like there was some cool stuff, and like everybody's like in the moped community have picked that place over for the last 20 years. So like, I mean, granted, they get some stuff in, and they're only open a couple days a week. It's like I go down there once a year, if that, and it's just like, Like I went and tripped over a Hobbit rear wheel, and there
Uh,
happened to be a transmission on it, and I got it for like $20. It's
yep.
like, I mean,
See,
it's
Bob's if Bob's was in your location, it already whittled down to nothing
yeah,
because that we have the Arizona and the climate that's just going to keep this metal pristine with just a
yeah.
little bit of rust, unless it starts getting a ton of water, or of course like anything stored with gas and it
hmm
varnish, all that stuff. So
I spent, and I'm not going to use the tank, but I'm glad I went there anyways. I spent an entire Saturday going through sport wheels, and this is like springtime Minnesota where the snow's melting and you're walking through muck and water. I checked every freaking Honda tank because I have a hard time crossbreeding stuff for some reason. It's just a weird thing about me. But I was looking at every Honda tank had rust in them. Finally, I got into this one weird part of the salvage yard, and I found one that had been sitting there forever. I swear. And it was like up in this lean-to, and I climbed over some stuff. If I would have fell, I would have shattered my other femur. Blah blah blah. Pulled it down. I popped it open. It was clean. I'm like oh, and like,
yeah.
but there was. Don't worry, there was gas in that tank from the '80s. Like I just had to
All right.
laugh. Yeah, it smelled great, but
Yes.
but right on, right on. So you got Bob's, you got that stuff. What you're talking about some of your stuff. Like, when's the first time you got on a moped?
Uh, Honestly, when I was a kid. So
Okay.
but we're hopping around on
Yeah, yeah,
this
dude, no worries.
timeline.
Timeline.
Exactly. But so now going back, probably I was not still in Bowie. I remember my dad picked up one. My dad at that time, I think worked at like a Sears mechanic. So working on stuff. There's many pictures of me and that we always worked with my dad. He was always
Yeah.
sort of hands on. And I remember he brought back a mini bike, one of these things, and he couldn't figure it out. I remember, like, man, Dad, let me figure this out, and ran it, and it started. And I remember that, and then like shortly after that, a moped popped up in my shed because I remember getting on as a kid and being like, "What is this thing?" And I would pedal it, but I was like, "I'm not going nowhere." I'm like,
Yeah.
but not going anywhere as a kid. It had a tank, but I remember that camp counselor bike more than I remember that bike. I remember it was black. It pedaled. It had a clutch, so it had it wasn't a lever clutch. It wasn't some type of dual, variated or anything like that. But it was just black and basic. And I want to say it was probably like a Jawa or something.
Dude, the Jawa community is ready to stab you right now because there's nothing basic about Jawa. No.
No, nothing basic about it. But look, it could be a plain Jane thing.
Oh, dude, don't worry. I'll bust Jawas people all day long. Like I know where
I
some
got
are at.
Tomos, so
Yeah,
I got Tomos, and I tend to. I know how they work, and that was the first really bike that I had was a Tomos. I'd like pretty much maybe everybody else, or who knows? I don't know. I'm not saying that.
Right on.
But going back to 9 riding a moped, and then man, I want to say there's a place in Maryland. It's not Maryland. It's Delmarva. Delmarva is the very peninsula of Maryland, Delaware, and Virginia. That's why it's called Delmarva. And we would always go to this beach with my dad because he worked on this island Aztec, and at this beach they would rent out mopeds. I mean, you would go and there would be a rental spot that would be all yellow. So that one rental would be all yellow, and I swear they're probably all like Tomos. They're all, I want to say, mostly Tomos because this is probably late '80s, still probably late '80s, early '90s time, and when this all. But you had to be 16 to rent, all that stuff. I remember my parents rent one. I'm like, all right, there, put on the diet. This is cool. But ever since then, every time we went there, I was like, man, I want to rent these things. This looks like so much fun, and I really think that's where I really want a moped is seeing that summer, summers upon summers, man, seeing all these people tool around in this little beach town out in Maryland. But it's riding mopeds.
Yeah. No, dude, and I totally get that. Like, yeah. And it makes sense to me because like the East Coast seems like they got a lot more Tomos than like the Midwest. I mean, Midwest, we had dealers here, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but like it was all about Pooks and Hondas around here.
Yes.
Like there was just the way it was. So you're seeing all these, you're riding all these bikes and all that. What I'm just trying to like what was the what was your first like daily rider moped you had then?
The Tomos. So
Was it the Tomos? Okay.
the silver Tomos. So I got dug in there that I still got to sort of figure the thing out because we moved from Maryland to New Mexico. My mom got a job at White Sands, and I was probably 22 at the time.
Okay.
All right, let me start something. You know, I went out there to go to school at New Mexico State for mechanical engineering, and I remember my mom coming up like one Saturday morning. This guy's selling this thing, you know. It looks fun, you know. Maybe y'all can ride it. And it was me and my three brothers, so we're sharing a car that was, you know, my mom when they moved. At the time, I was older. You know, I was 20. Yeah. My brothers were still mid teens and whatnot. They drove cross country. They're like, we're going to make this a family trip, and I was like, all right, I'll meet you there. I'm going to fly there later on when y'all get there. But they ended up driving to Florida to pick up a 1991 Toyota Camry. It was like my old aunt's car, and then drove that thing to the New Mexico, and then that was our like car that me and my brothers shared to go to school and just sort of community. Yeah. Las Cruces, New Mexico. It's not that big of a city. You know, El Paso is the next big city. It's like 45 minutes from there.
Yeah, but, dude, like New Mexico's a trip because on my way driving from Minnesota to the Goatheads rally, I'd never seen this before in my living life, and I love it. You see bench, 40 miles, 20 miles, and all of a sudden, like just a bench on the side of the road with like an awning or something like that. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I still get a kick out of that. Like, I don't know. Like, it's rad. Like, yeah, you want to get out, just chill and sit on the bench. Like,
there's the bench. Well, that's the thing. If you go to the 10 from that direction past Tucson, you know, anywhere else, you got the thing. They're like, what is the thing? You know, the thing, 340 miles. So you have signs that for, you know, every 20 miles, what is this thing? What is this thing? And I passed this thing every 1 year. We had to do it. It was only $1, you know, let's see what this thing is. But it's totally worth it, guys. If you do it, got to do it. I'm not going to say what it is because you got to do
just like the Corn Palace, just like the Corn Palace in South Dakota. You got to go there because you got to go. So you guys relocate. You're in New Mexico. I imagine go
ahead.
No, you tell your story, my guy.
No, I was gonna say when we got the moped, so we went the $100 moped. It was $100 Tomos.
Yep.
You know, brothers, they bring it over because this is our ride between me and my brothers. And we looked at this thing and I was like, man, what is this? And I was like, this looks like fun. I know what this is. I remember this in a sense. But how does this thing, you know, I had to remember how this thing started. And she was like, hold on. Oop, and it kicked over and I was like, all right. And then my brother, for some stupid reason, there's the choke lever. You know, we don't know. It's just like on res, you know, don't know what this is still because, you know, we don't know what this is. So we hit it. But then realizing it now, the fucking lever on the choke was broken now that I know what was going on, because every time he did that I was like, god damn it, and I would have to take the whole cover off and I would get my screwdriver and have to pop the thing off because I always thought it was like a restrictor. It's restricting. So now I only, because then it wouldn't go, you know, it'll start, but then it's 4 strokes now.
In a sense it was a restrictor. Like
it was in a sense, but man, you know, hindsight now, you know, whatever. But then so that when we got that thing, that's 2003, probably 2003, 2004. I think is when we got that. And then I rode that every so often to school. Where our house was compared to the campus, it was like 1 or 2 roads. It wasn't bad at all. The city's, you know, it's a small city. And I honestly enjoyed it. Once I rode it once or twice, I was like, this is fun. You know,
hit that smile ride, dude.
Yeah, exactly. I'll go through the quad. Go check this out, and then kill it, and then just coast all the way through the quad. Like, And I remember going, where I would go and then loop back through. There's this girl, my wife, this girl in a blue M5. I knew it, and we would pass every so often. So this girl and it's like one of those that baby blue, M5 Beamer. It's that,
yep.
That what color I'm talking about. But she would walk and she would smile at me, and I would wave to her. And I was like, "Hot shit!"
She was like, "Look at this dork on this child's toy."
Hey, I'm smiling, it's cruising, and the thing was fun. And my brother, he used it too. And I remember watching like him and his friend riding dubs on the thing, cruising, jumping curves and stuff.
Oh,
and it was just, it was just the tool at that point of getting around. I didn't, it was to get to school and back. And if I was going anywhere else, I took Grace, which was the Camry,
yeah.
The back and forth. But then it sat, after I moved from New Mexico, it sat there. So the Tomo sat, and then got Mopeds wasn't truly a moped. It was this community I didn't know anything about, but this was still sort of early. When I moved to Phoenix in 2005 or 2006 for school. I went to school, and I got a job, and then started working, but then I started traveling for work again. And this is really where I think where the connection of where I started meeting people and sort of getting out and about is really when I started traveling for work. I traveled for a while, and then I was in El Paso for work for about a year.
Okay. What do you do, if you mind me asking you?
At that time, I did a low voltage technician. So I did commercial AV work. I went to New Mexico, went to school for mechanical engineering for about 2-3 years, and be like, yeah, this 8-year program, I'm starting school at 22, and they're going to say, oh, I'm going to be here for 8 years. I'm like 30, and I did construction right out of high school. I worked for the most part. And parents say, you want something? Go, good job. Go
earn it.
Yeah. Okay, you're going to be driving me to work at 14 now, and which they were. Because, hey, you told me to get a job. I went and got a job because I want to buy things and I want to be able to, do what I got to do.
I need beer money, Mom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust me, like I was making good money in high school. It was gone every weekend. Like,
for sure. Oh no, it was me and my buddy Andy. We would go, every Friday. I got into music. I used to play drums, and I got into DJing. I sort of produced a little bit, but I got more into DJing and sort of nightlife and stuff of that nature. Yeah. So, I've always been around in music, and then that's what got me from Las Cruces to Phoenix, is because there's a music school here. There's a Crash is what it's called, Recording Arts and Science, and it's a tech school. It's a tech school for audio engineers for the most part. And then from there, that transitioned to studio work and stage work. Stage work transitioned into home automation because I wanted to do home theater things and mix down. So I'm like, let me figure out how home theater stuff's for.
Because you don't want to be on the road either. That stage work's a tired life.
Oh man, no, and it's a gig, man. I remember doing calls. That last show I did was for Sting, which was cool. But man, a call, man, it was 18-hour day. You're there. Yeah. You're there when the truck comes in. You unload that truck. If you got stage call, you're hanging out there all day, and then you're loading all out. And I don't think too many people realize that. Hey, that stuff comes in that day. It gets set up. They're done. It's going on the truck, and it's right back out the door. There's not taking time by any means. But you got into that. You got off staging, low volt work, and then low volt work worked into court. I did courtroom systems, so I did all the microphones and monitors and stuff for that. And that sort of rolled into then the company I worked with had a DOJ contract. So we did all the federal courts. So I started hopping around now to all these federal courts throughout the nation. And at that time, and that's why I was in El Paso, because I was on that job. After that job got wrapped up, I was like, hey, there's a truck there. Hey, I got this moped at my mom's house. I'm going to, swing it on, throw it in the back of the truck. And then as soon as it got up here, I was like, man, I moved from where I was in downtown Phoenix, and I was working on the courthouse downtown. That was a 10-minute drive. It turned into a 5-minute moped ride. I'm going to start riding this moped. And some of these guys, they would look at me because I'm 6'5", I'm 280.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
right now, I'm 260 now, so I'm getting
yeah.
a little faster
You're
on the
looking like a
moped.
bear on a tricycle. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. And they're like, what is this guy? And all these guys would come, we would all walk off the site, and I walk over right to my moped, unlock it, and be like, see ya, kick it and go.
Yeah.
Y'all walking all the way to your car, all that. No, I was back and forth. But then, started tinkering with it like you have to, I guess.
And if you got a mechanical mind, you can't leave shit alone like that.
No.
Like, especially toys we have to mess with it.
Correct. And if you don't know how it works, then it's broken because you don't know how it works. So you have to understand how it works, and then understand how it's not broken because it's fine.
Yeah.
But then, of course, any knob thing to do, let's take my stock bars and let's flip them upside down. Let's see how
you
this
fell
is.
into that.
Of course, because there's no direction of this. I'm just like,
no, dude.
I was like, this looks right, but this doesn't feel right by any means. And then now, no, it doesn't look right. So I did not ride it that way. I did flip it, and I was like, what? But that was honestly like the first mod, and then doing the whole like, hey, let me just put the pod filter off, but taking the airbox. Because you think that is the right thing to do, but then now it's truly not. You want an air volume. You want the thing to be trying to pump from somewhere. In a sense, you don't want a big just velocity. A lot of air just sort of rushing across that thing.
Yeah.
But you do those things because it's like, hey, this looks cool. But then, sure as shit, come across Googling Moped Army. What is this? What? Yeah. And I just,
oh my goodness, there's a community of people who are like me and they're dorks.
Exactly. And I was like, man, and who is it? It was Graham. Graham was his name because I know Tom Cruisers. Tom Cruisers were on there. It was like Tempe, Arizona. I was like, holy shit. And I get on there and I'm like, man, their page is like 25 deep. They have a huge roster. I'm like, hell yeah, this is going to be fun. And I ended up, like, again, this is on like the tail end of sort of where a lot of the guys are, they're getting older, they're getting off of transition, life was going on. At that point, too, my son was born. So, honestly, looking for something was sort of, all right, I got a kid, all right, I need some type of sort of step away, something for myself. All right, well, this seems to be fun. It's not going out to bars, stuff like that. We would meet up, we would tool around. We'd barely ride at that. We would go to the bar right up the street. But it was still, you met around with people, and I definitely met some people out of that group that sort of then transitioned to, to the group that I have now, sort of the guys that I ride with. But, trying to keep this sort of some linear of this story. When I started traveling for work after meeting Moped Army, now after meeting Tom Cruisers, is when I was like, hey, I'm going to these cities. Just drop a line. Let's see what's going on. And I ended up back in Sacramento for a job. This is out in YOLO, and it is really YOLO, and it's north of Sacramento area. And I remember talking to my wife, girlfriend at the time, that wife, I think at the time, there's this moped rally. I don't know, I should try, do this. And at the time, I rode with a couple people around, but there's no like big rides or whatever. And I don't have anything. I'm going back and forth for work everywhere. Fly out on Monday, fly back and forth. So, back and forth with my wife. And I'm like, man, fuck it. All right, go to Walmart. Went to Walmart, bought some shitty jeans, bought a jacket. I got it because I only had really work clothes. But I really didn't want to get too trash because I know if we're gonna get down, we're gonna get down. And I had no idea really what I was gonna get myself into. But ended up messaging Chris Squid, and he ended up messaging me back and said, we can get you a loaner. I had no bike, no nothing. So brought my helmet, got my clothes, got my set. I'm all right, cool. I looked sort of, went to Walmart, I found like a flannel. It was a flannel, but it was a camo flannel, and so I was like, all right, I feel like I sort of fit in here a little bit. And
basically, you dress like you're going to a punk show, and you'll be fine.
Yes, and I'm always
same brother. Yeah,
I'm a punk kid, But then I end up going, and then I go there, and I don't know anybody there. I'm just like, market, all right, cool. They said they're gonna have pancakes and beer, pancakes and coffee. And this is that Motomatic shop. So
Oh, awesome! Yeah,
it's a Barry and all those guys ended up. Oh, I'm gonna be lost from Matt. Matt was the first guy I
yep.
sort of ran into there.
Matt's super nice guy. Happy birthday, Matt. Yeah,
Is it his birthday? Lost Boy.
it
Matt?
was like a day or two ago. Whatever.
Exactly. Birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy
But
birthday, Matt.
I'm like, hey, who's Christian? Who's Christian? And he's like, I'm Christian. I was like, hey, Christian, hey, nice to meet you. And he's like, he looks at me weird. I'm like, yeah. And it turns out that was Christian Luna. So
Yeah.
the one guy that just got into, and Chris Squid, he wasn't even there. Because then later on, I run Matt's like, yeah, we got you this loaner. And I look, oh, man, I'll find a picture of it. It's because it's not on my Cobra page, but it's on my personal page. It's a baby blue maxi with hot pink, side rails, hot pink tassels,
nice.
It's all done, baby blue and hot. It's like, we got you this. I'm like, hell yeah. It's a ZA. It had, I think it was kitted and whatnot. And they were like, hey, and I was like, all right, need some air in the tires. Cool. And I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
It still didn't run into Christian at that point, but then, started going off the ride. And then I think through the ride, he found out who I was and he came up next to me and he was in his, he was on that Bonavitz, that the Grand Prix. What's the two bikes that you bought?
Bonavitz Grand Prix and then the Mondial. The Mondial I didn't buy. Lee bought that, but yeah.
He got I think he had. I think the blue.
Was it a top tank or step through?
It was a step through, but it was blue. And I know.
Mondials came out in blue. Yep.
Yeah, but he came up by the time. I was like, all right, you're Chris. All right, cool. And this is, that ride for being the first rally that I did or the first ride. It was Lost Boys. Ride for Porn. It was like Snot Sickle 7. So they did a great group. I love the Lost Boys because really, Cobra Kings and sort of lost that sort of attitude and sort of that group of people, and sort of that age of people is sort of around the same group. But we did 90 miles.
That's awesome.
Bike. And this is like just, if you ever watch, and I tell guys, if you're ever going to do it, because then I went a couple years after that, there's always a cycling event that's in Sacramento. Like it's all nationally televised, and they're running this river channel. That is the route that typically those guys take, is down those roads. And it's just 2-lane, and it's just blast. You just go. You just roll along a riverside for the most part, and then washes. But when I got back on the bike, they're like, good. We didn't know if this thing was going to make it because it hasn't been ridden in like 2 years. So I was like, all right, well, it made it. And it was cruising. It was a ZA.
Yeah.
I remember riding, not knowing a bunch of people and sort of just tooling around. You'd ride it into like guys that are like, all right, well, he seems about what speed I want to stay at. A rally is not, all right, I'm going to blast. Of course, there is. Yes, you can. It's great. It's fun. But I'm all about just make a ride. Let's just go. We're all got to get there. And then I would find guys that would be like singled out, and I'm like, all right, well, you're about my speed. Let me hang out with you for a little bit.
Yeah, you got your ride buddy, if you will. Yeah. Always, it's like, for me, and I think about that more and more. Like, there's some people, I'm gonna blast all over. It's like, dude, this is just mopeds. Like, sure, it's fun to have a quick bike, but it's like, it's just mopeds, buddy. It's all right. Like, some people take a lot of pride in that. That's awesome, but like, I'd rather have a bike with gas mileage at this point at a rally, but that's just me.
Yep. No, but there is got to have one blasting die.
Dude, I have one. Don't worry. Like,
yeah. I'm not saying
I'm not anti-blaster, but like at a rally, it's like,
it's a great thing, man. It's all about everybody at that point. You're all riding together, and then everybody's sort of just like, all right, we all got to get this. We're getting through this together. And nobody's left behind. Well, some people are left behind, and some points when things are low. Like myself, after I think the third rally or the third trip I did, but I don't know if I need to talk any more about the Lost Boys after, because
no, you talk as much as you want about your stuff. This is your platform.
Yeah, I'm trying to really truly, after, because it was the Lost Boys rally, and then I ran into so many people there that I know, like, I still talk to all those guys that I've met at that first rally. I still somewhat chat to. Tall Tom, I talked to that guy all the time. He ended up having some issues, he came out for Lake Havasu Falls, and he was like, hey man, I missed my flight, because it's a hike. You have to hike several miles to get to this falls. And it's this thing you see on Instagram or whatever. And I was like, hey, man, here. I traveled to work. Hey, man, I got you. I booked in my hotel close to it with my points. It didn't cost me anything, whatever. Yeah. But like all those guys from some of that first trip, it was always like, all right, this is the community that I like. I like how all, Jolo is a guy. I still chat with that guy. I remember still meeting with him. He is Jolo. I'm horrible. I don't know your last name. I just call him Jolo. If you ever went on Treats, there's a seat. There's a seat that's, I think, barely named the Jolo seat. And that seat, when I was traveling for work and I was working in San Francisco, no shit, this is after I bought 1 or 2 parts. I bought a carb, I bought an intake. We haven't talked about sort of the upgrading, really where we've gone with mopeds. And I remember after that, I was like, man, Treats is in San Francisco. Why have I not seen any mopeds? And sure as shit, I see this black maxi. At the time, come by. I was like, man, check that shit out. There is one. And the dude had dreads. It was stretched out. And behind is fucking this kid, Jolo. And now Jolo is the guy, like I keep up. He's my rally buddy. We've traveled to do a couple rallies. Hey, what do you want to do? Hey, let's try this one. We went out to do Houston shit. But that was him on that maxi. And then 2 years later, then I ended up meeting him at that rally. And then since he lived closer, he was my guy. Like, hey man, you got a ped? You got a loaner for me? And Jolo, he has a big chopper ped. I'm pretty sure you've seen his bikes. He has a couple derbies. He had that Derby maxi. No, not Derby Max. What am I talking about? It was a Laguna. So it's a Laguna tank on a Pinto frame. It was put together. But there's pictures of. He just recently sold it, and he's pumped because I wanted that bike. There's a video I have. I can probably send it. That bike was fun. But he's built some shit, and he was like, hey man, you got something I can ride? Yeah, I'll bring you something. And the second rally, the Lost Boys, the Ride for Porn, or not Ride for Porn. There was another. I forget the second one. But then I ended up doing the 10-year. What's it called? Creatures Rally.
Awesome, dude. And
that shit, man, that was a fucking blast.
Dude, everybody wants a creature rally because like everybody knows San Francisco, and people who listen to podcasts have heard like Jason hype up, even though he's never been there, but like, and I mean, everybody wants to do a creature rally, but the hiccup about going to a creature rally, especially East Coasters and Midwesterners, like you gotta get a bike to the creature rally, and it's like it's like but I mean, I will, whether it's a creature rally or not, like that's one of those things I gotta check off, like riding mopeds in San Francisco, and like to ride one of my bikes in San Francisco would be rad as hell. Like,
man, because I tell you that thing, 300, it was probably a 300 bike count. And it just took over San Francisco. I have pictures where it's, you're going through Chinatown. And we went through Chinatown where like I'm up on the hill of Chinatown and literally like 2 blocks, it's just a row of mopeds. Guys so I still remember the dude there's a couple street bike guys because they're like, oh shit, we're riding because we took over. Stoplights, shit, yeah, okay. No, we were just running through San Francisco. And we went through it all. And there's one point where, because we're on mopeds, how we ride mopeds. We like to take mopeds on bike trails and other things of that nature. It's really a small. It's sure shit. We go up this windy, like windabout to go across this pedestrian bridge, and all 300. We're looping through this thing.
Jesus
you see
Christ!
The street bike. You see the street bike come in the street. There's a couple street bikes, and one street bike had dubs. They had this chick on the back, and you get over the pedestrian sidewalk. And on the other side was a double set of stairs. So now everyone's walking. This one street bike, like, it's like, we jumped down the thing for the most part. Like, it was, that's just how this was going down in San Francisco. But it was just, it's a fun time. And I remember that was the big ride was on Saturday, and the first Friday, the Friday night ride. I remember going out, and we were like, all right, this is the first night. Everyone's hanging out. Everyone went to the bar. And it was night ride, and everyone was taking off, and I'm on my bike, and all right, this is cool. Yeah, this is, it wasn't as many people
Mm-hmm.
But it was Friday night, and we're cruising through. I don't know any areas of San Francisco by any means, but we start going, and I just see everyone like, "What? What?" They get on it, and just start going. I'm like, "Man, why are these guys going?" And I'm like, "Oh man, San Francisco, shit!" And I catch on that we're racing now up a hill. So
Oh shit! Yeah, yeah.
everybody's trying to get up on the pipe to sort of stay on the bike. There's
Mm-hmm.
dudes. It was a very engagement. This was at the very beginning of my moped sort of career or
Yeah,
whatever you want to
existence.
call it,
Yeah,
existence. I didn't know what these guys are career. I'm like, what is this? What is that? Holy shit! Why is this guy going so fast up the hill? I was just always,
yeah,
and these guys are taking off, and I'm on my buddy's Maxi, but his Maxi, it was an E50, but it's a Gila. It's like a Team 24. It was big. It was built out, but I didn't get it. I didn't get on it to sort of stay in it. And I'm just like, man, I ain't gonna kill this thing. So I'm dying.
yeah,
Everyone's tooling up this hill, and this thing's fucking steep. And
yeah.
I make it halfway.
It's San
up.
Francisco. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, fuck this. And I was like, all right, man, I ain't killing this bike before tomorrow. And I get off and I'm walking it up. I'm like, man, how far is this hill? And I had this idea, like, wait a minute, there's a hill down here. It looked like it went to a parking lot. So I took the bike down there, thinking I was going to catch enough speed. But then that parking lot was even on a hill. So then it was a shit show because now I have to walk the bike back up another hill to get to that top of that hill now to go back down the hill. But when I was going up, I swear to you, I was going up this hill and this HP cop comes down the hill and he's like, man, what's going on? It sounded like a swarm of bees. And I was like, holy shit, he actually used the reference of swarm of bees. The cop said it sounded like a swarm of bees going by. And I was like, oh, just a bunch of guys, a bunch of idiots on mopeds, just tool around. My fat ass can't get up this hill, and just coasted down the hill and put in my phone. All right, where's the bar? All right, I'm back to the bar. I was not trying to catch these guys, Mike.
No, you knew you were out.
Yeah, no, because what it was, I guess, was like, all right, let's see who's gonna break sort of scenarios. The test ride of, all right, we gotta blast this throughout. If the shit lasts through this, then your bike is going to manage to make it through the whole ride and a deal, which was great. And that ride didn't go over the Golden Gate, but then following the years or something, there's another trip where they did go over the Golden Gate, and I don't know if it was creatures or not, but that's something I've always told Jolo that I want to do it. But he's like, man, you do that shit will blow you over. If it's a windy day on the Golden Gate, it will blow you. I'm like, man, it would be cool, and then you're looking at it, it's like, man, this would be awesome. But yeah, I can totally understand that, seeing semis, and I don't ride bikes, street bikes, big bikes. It's just moped stuff. So
yeah, dude, I'm there with you. I've got to ride a bike across the Golden Gate, and I've got to go ride mopeds in the Forest of Endor, dude, like the Redwood Forest. I mean, I got to and that's I refer to the Redwood Forest as the Forest of Endor because that's what it is, people. Like,
it is massive trees. When I did work in San Francisco, that was one of the things I did when I got off work. Like, oh, I got the job done early. All right, what are we gonna do? I'm fucking going in here. I'm gonna check out these fucking trees. Let's see what the hell this is all about. And that was really the thing about when I traveled for work was, all right, let's see if I can get this done quickly because let's see what's going on. See if anybody's around. I did a lot of trips to Kansas City. Kansas City is a great city. Like, Kevin.
I've been very lucky to ride a lot in Kansas City.
That place, where that shop is, and that whole industrial space, and just Kansas City as a whole, guys. I mean, if you haven't, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's an awesome.
I can't encourage people enough to go to the Spicy Boys rally this year. Yes. Like, those guys are nuts, and I love them all. Portwood, Mikey, Kent, everybody, like, they're freaking awesome. And like, I know Brett Epps, I forget his first name.
I think it's Brett.
Yeah. Like, they have such a great thing going with the Hickory Moto Union. So
it's awesome. And then because I think, when was that? That was probably like, shit, my son's 8, so that's probably 7 years ago, right? When that sort of started getting started, and then Chris was in there, Kevin Mueller. I'm sorry for butchering your last name, man, but dude, that dude is a solid guy, man. And that, again, it was one of those deals, like, hey, okay, what's going on? Hey, come over. We're all into the same deal, and sort of chilled and cooked, drank, and that dude has some shit, man. I don't know if
dude, I've been to Kevin's place. I've been to
Kevin's place.
Yeah, I had ribs at his place for freaking Thanksgiving one year with my friend Marie. It's like, Dude, you go in his backyard, it's like you have this freaking Ford Ranchero with like he's got that thing built. Like I know what he paid for. Ford parts aren't cheap. And then he's got Foxes, and then he's got all these Derbies, and he's got all these other like. Jesus.
Have you been down in his basement?
No, I haven't been to his basement.
Even that sounds pretty shitty. It's like, have you been down to his basement? But
dude, it's Kansas City. I can only imagine. Like, yeah.
Oh man, it's great, dude, man. Man, we'll go up down. Have you ever been to Up Down in Kansas City? That's another thing you should do. It's an arcade bar.
We've got one in Minneapolis. There. Yeah, they're rad, dude.
That's for that whole. I can't talk more highly about Kansas. My wife she lived in Kansas for a while, but she won't move back. And I'm like, it's the city. But traveling for work and meeting those guys, and then San Francisco and California, meeting those guys with work. Lou, I managed to run into the Houston guys, all the Magneto guys for work. Every time I went.
Did you meet Jesse?
Yes.
That's unfortunate. I'm sorry for that. Like Lou's great. Like Jesse can go like whatever.
Lou's great. Jesse got to get some cojones. And
Jesse's wife is awesome, super nice. What she's doing with Jesse is beyond all of us. Like,
oh no, one of these days he'll finish that bike. One of these days,
Jesse's really good talking shit and like busting balls. I have yet to see him finish anything. So what? What? Yeah.
Hey, no, that Pinto is that Pinto. Is it a free spirit of Pinto? It was something they put together for his wife that has those 3-star.
The Corrado wheels.
Yes. Yeah. It's black. That thing's nice. They all put some. They've had put some stuff.
Dude, they got some nice bikes. I'll say that, and I'm kind of bummed out. Like, doesn't sound like Lou's gonna be in Nashville, which kind of bummed me out because they got a wedding. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, I gotta deal with Jesse.
Hey,
so.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think. Man, I would, and that was when I traveled for work. I had free tickets. I had hotel points. My wife and kids, they flew for me for free. So I did a lot of traveling for all of these other events. All right, well, I'm going to use points to do that. And then that's what sort of gave me that avenue of meeting more people in the community. Man, like everybody in the moped community I feel cool. Yes, there's probably some throughout it all, but I think everybody that I've dealt with all has the same mentality and attitude in life.
Well, that's the thing about moped people, especially moped people in the internet community. Like, if you reach out to them and they get back to you, like they're generally excited that more moped people are coming to their city and they're going to be good hosts for their city. Like that's been a lot of my experience. If they're willing to reach back, dude, they're going to be really rad people.
Hey, because even when they, hey man, because usually I would always drop like, hey man, anybody want to wrench and just talk about mopeds? Then that's just come over and just hang around, drink beers at the time, fucking bullshit, and to be honest, I feel those cities that I had a chance to ride a moped through, I got to see the city. I got to see all of the city. I got to be like, you really take in this city on two wheels and being out there going slow in those things.
I will say this over and over again. Like, I think it was Becca Buzzer pointed this out. Like, when you travel for a moped rally and you get a totally different experience of a city. You get to be a part of the city versus great, you're going to do the tourist stuff, but like you get to see a different side of the city when you're there on mopeds. And I fully agree with that. Like, I've got to experience so many things the last couple of years during the downtimes of Rona. I feel so privileged because of mopeds. And like, I won't go on my rant anymore about that, but yeah.
Well, mopeds in general are always been something that's like, all right, this is going to get me somewhere. This is fun. All right, this is getting me out of my hotel when I was traveling. Because when you travel for work, you're working. You're working or you're in the hotel room or you eat food, you're working. So if this is going to get me out of here and see the town, see what other people are all about, I'm all about it. And there's a couple of cities that I I got a hold of people, but then it didn't turn in. Like I didn't have time, or something came up, and man, I really want to get back to several. I needed to get back to the East Coast and check out some of that stuff. I've been sort of doing more. Let's stay over here on the West now. This is an 8-hour drive. All right, my wife needs me to come back. All right, I think I can make it back. But still, even like how you said at the beginning, people think of the Southwest as a dead area, but yet, we can ride if we really wanted to all year.
Yeah.
When I go out and ride and really sort of get going and get actually riding is in January, and then come May, June, come 100 degrees, which comes 100 degrees at 10 o'clock in the morning. The bike is not right. You can get it to go and you can tune it to whatever, but just think of what you're doing at this point. You're sucking in this hot ass air into this bike, and this thing is not going to like this by any means. So, you're riding late at night, after midnight, or
I'm telling you, have a January rally. People will come.
Yeah. Well, I was even debating like a New Year's thing, but I think New Year's is like too much.
That
too much.
No, I hear you, and I don't hate that idea, dude. I don't hate it at all. But because like you got a holiday weekend, yeah, I'm just saying maybe.
No, it can be done. It's really, the guys that I ride with now, we're all older. I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm the only one with kids, but no, Scott's daughter is older. But trying to organize something, even organizing us and getting out riding. It's not an every week thing. We try to do wrenching every Wednesday. We'll wrench. We'll try to. But right now, every Sunday's been pretty good about going out and riding and just getting out because it's good weather, right? We get out at like 10 o'clock. It's like 75.
Yeah. And
perfect.
That's what I've really noticed. And like so you guys have your riding season, if you will, just because like summer's just way too hot to get out during the day. And like Minnesota, that's one good thing I will say. They're consistent. Thursday's ride night. And like I really think that's definitely a way to grow a scene is to be somewhere consistent every week or every other week and like be outgoing towards them. I mean, I can't give old Well Wizard him enough praise of how outgoing he is and how kind he is. Yeah, old Jakey Kane there. He's got family in the Phoenix area, I think. Like he's actually going out there soon. Like
come help me get my Tomos.
Don't tempt him.
My Tomos hit 60 and I was like, hell yeah, and then it just cut, and I was like, all right, what the hell's up with this? All right, and change the crank. I've done a bunch of shit. The only thing I haven't done is truly take it and done a leak down test to sort of see what is going on here. I said, fuck this, and I put together another Tomos with just random parts I had. So now I'm riding this other Tomos. But that that bike, everyone gives shit about Tomos, but
dude,
they run. But you start pushing power and those things, just like you have to do shit like Jake did. You have to do all. It's just that none of the shit is supposed to be moving at that rate of speed by any means. You start doing little shit like that. It needs all the balance in it. And man, once I saw him do that, and I remember seeing that thread like a long time ago that popped up on Moped Army, and then it like disappeared, and then it came back, and I think it was his original thread. And I was like, dude, that is it. That is the problem here, because you can just hear how that tone. If you start whining, that it's like, hey, that's just how it sounds, guys. We're good. Just keep going. Like you need to get the thing to get that bike fucking ripping. And I know, like, I would love to see that bike, Toby.
Yeah,
like,
dude, I was over at Jake's house on Friday. Like, he's bringing it to Nashville. Like, yeah.
Hell yeah, Jake. Way to go. And I haven't tried the hot sauce, but I'm not a hot sauce guy. But I will try your hot sauce just because it's Jake.
It's good. I mean, it's hot. I feel originally from the East Coast. Oh man, hot stuff. Oh shit, this is hot. Oh my god, it's bland as fuck. If you're on the East, hot is not hot. I don't know, mid up there, it could. You come down here to the Southwest. I still remember my first experience of green chili. Oh
was
yeah,
at
dude.
this little like hole in the wall Mexican restaurant when I moved to Las Cruces, and then they pull out this nice salt. It's the house salsa and chips, and that's all they brought to the table was this chips and salsa, not
Yeah.
different types of salsa, just this one house salsa and that. And I dipped that chip. That was the hottest shit I ever put in my mouth. And they're like, "This is mild," and they had no water, no nothing. I was like, "What?"
They're like, look at this fucking
you know,
white boy sweating his ass off. They had water. They
exactly.
weren't giving you shit. They're gonna watch and laugh at you.
Exactly. But now, I had many moons of green chili and green chili on it. Oh man, that is
No.
that is New Mexico's. Well,
Oh
green
yeah.
chilies.
Oh dude, don't worry. I got to experience some, and like it's good. Like I grew up around a lot, as everybody knows. I grew up like a high Hispanic population, so like I like hot food. It just I don't need to do it anymore. And like what I've really kind of fallen in love with recently is like the Hmong spices, like Hmong Asian people.
Okay.
Like they're the way they do heat on their food is smooth. Like that's the best way I can describe it. Like Hispanic food will just punch you in the face and keep punching you.
Yep.
This stuff is like it grows, like the temperature goes up, it stays there, and it just stays there, and then it goes down. Like it's not.
It's time release.
Yeah, dude. It's like it doesn't just keep punching you in the face like good hot sauce will. Like,
but sweat. But again, that bike, props to him. That I've never seen it, haven't heard it, but I imagine that thing has to rip. So the work that's been done into that sort of challenge to get it where it is, and then I'm shit for names, but I fucking Manic Moped. He did the same, didn't he? Like drill
Conan?
out. Yeah,
he's messed around with it. Yeah. He did his own thing. I think he built kind of went off of Jake's platform and kind of made some tweaks himself. And like he had Ryan from the Cranks build him a pipe, and like I've never seen it, but like I know Conan. That boy will blow it up till it goes. He'll go fast till it blows up.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. I haven't met the guy, but I remember when I first saw that Toma, the fucking chopper. I was like, dude,
the Lobos, dude. That thing's freaking rad.
That shit was badass. I was like, hell yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
And I'll do this for the YouTube. Like, I got nothing but love for Jessica and Conan. Like, those guys they've been so good to me and so kind to me. Like, yeah, that was, how you talked about like going to a rally knowing nobody. Like, that was me going to Tampa a couple years ago. Like I showed up, I kind of knew the Richmond people from a podcast. I knew Ryan and Nick from Milwaukee, kinda, and like I was just kind of smiling because I was out of the frigid cold air, and just like, "You're from Minnesota, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yep." She goes, I can tell with the accent. I'm from Minnesota, so yeah.
Exactly. Oh man, but if we're talking about drilled out, balanced, whatever happened to Moped Mondays,
I heard something about 100 episode 100, Jason, and that's why I don't promise anything like that. Like I don't want to have to deliver. Like I sold so many parts, and like I feel bad because it took me a week and a half to finally get it in the mail. That's why I don't like to do anything like that, because then so maybe we'll see that motor. Maybe we'll see that motor someday.
We will. It's there. It's it's there. But I thank both of y'all for putting things on like this, because it's sort of it's there. All right, it's there in the ether of the internet. Hey, we do exist.
We got kind of like Chad Burke's delivery of his raffle bike. Maybe that'll happen.
Maybe it'll happen.
I should check with Adam.
Maybe we just keep talking about it more and more.
I mean, dude, we all do that stuff. I mean, it's like it's. Yeah, I'm gonna hush now before I get myself into more trouble, because I'm sure I'll get a text message or two at some point about this. But dude, I don't care. Like, bust my balls. It doesn't matter. Like I do. No. Yeah. So, what you talked about? You were kind of showed up during the tail end of the Tom Cruisers. P.S. Great name.
Yes.
And then, what made you kind of start the Cobra Kings thing? Like. P.S. I love your logo. It's
Thanks. My buddy Michael Bailey is a guy that I met in New Mexico, he was my DJ buddy. Me and him spent drum and bass in El Paso, and he does graphic design. He does graphic design, you know. And I was, you know, at that time, me and my buddy Donovan, he's one of the other guys that we started this. Him and his girlfriend at the time, Megan, were like it was us three because me and Donovan got that bug. You know, like boom, that dude bought like 3 bikes real quick. Like, what? It's 3 free spirits. You know, he picked them all up from my buddy Dax Miller, who's, you know, he was still with us and sort of cruised around with us, but then he recently moved to Vegas. But that group, we just wanted sort of to keep it going because why not? But I sent him what I thought was the coolest shit design. You know, it was plagiarized the shit out of the Cobra Kai, flipped it, reversed it. It says this, and I was like, dude, that's what I want. I want it like that. And he did what I want. You know, he did the 2 of those. He flipped them. He did with black and white. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want. Hell yeah. And he was like, hey, I also did this. And he's, you know, shows me this. I was like, dude, I like this. And because, you know, it went with sort of the attitude and sort of the name. What we wanted to do sort of as a group was like, we just wanted to keep it simple. We wanted to keep it old school sounding, just like basic. We all tool around on stuff. We're not dicks by any means. We're all like, hey, let's keep it the Cobra Kings. And we're like, all right, I like it. And the name stuck, and then the logo sort of. But then he showed me that, and I was like, all right, yeah. Well, you do this for a job, you know, a living. So I'm gonna take you. I like it. I really, really do. And I've spoken with him recently about doing stuff and sort of just putting some shirt designs together, things to hopefully Mr. Modest guy print some stuff for us. Just putting some stuff out there because I feel you know at this point whenever I'm buying clothes, like why not buy from somebody who's printing on their own or doing it for themselves? Like, what's the difference of the t-shirt? The t-shirt's a t-shirt, you know, design. You know, I'd rather buy stuff, and I hope that other people sort of have that same attitude. And I feel it is sort of that way. So if you can get some stuff out there, stuff to help support the club, support the group, and then hopefully get things going about planning things and sort of that whole idea. Because there is now a collective that's in Phoenix, sort of like the Hickory Union, where it's a rental spot. It's in Grand Avenue and like the older part. What would be like the main street of old downtown Phoenix now? Excuse me, but you know it's back and forth because right now our spot is my garage. My garage has everybody. Not everything. It's mostly my bikes. There's like 1 or 2 bikes that are not mine, and I need to get going. But
was your wife think about all that?
She wants them out of here.
Oh,
she doesn't want them out of here. She just she doesn't understand why I have so many. I try to explain to her like, well, this one's a French bike.
They all do different things.
This one does
all do different things.
Yeah, this one's Slovenia. This one's a 2-speed. This one's a everything's unique. But yes, I feel there's sentimental bikes I'll probably keep and I'll probably stick around. But at some point, duplicates and triplicates. There's one bike I'm really, really been trying to get, and who knows? He keeps teasing it out there, but I'm not going to say what it is. I ain't going to say what it is.
Okay. It's a specific bike, or
we'll just say, well, how about this? If I hint, it sort of goes along with our logo, and is the color of the logo, and sort of goes with the name of the logo of the group.
I think I
sort of picking up. I know the guy. If you fish around, I'll send you a picture of it. Like it's on my personal group page. This guy, it's a very sought after bike, and I think he understands that it's a bike that's been from San Francisco to LA. It has deals. You know, the big thing on it is that bike has a big kit on it. It has an old 80cc Gila kit.
Oh, okay.
So that was like the big, like, I really want this bike because it's all built out. But then my buddy, I just recently put together another bike where I took shit off a Pinto and I put it on a maxi frame because I really want a maxi frame. But now that I've done that, I have an 80cc Gila kit as well. And it's tweaking the shit out of my fucking rear end. So now I've already almost blown through the sidewall of one tire because it's right. And when it gets going, it's pulling that thing. So now, I need to get that going. But I really want the bike. sort of I would sell bikes for it just because they would sort of be the staple. Like, all right, that's us. This is us. This is who we are. And then whatever.
See, the thing about it, like that, and that's awesome, dude. That like you have the dream bike, because like I can honestly say I have bikes that I think would be cool to own, but like I will be the first one to admit I am such a Hobbit dork. Like
Mhm.
I think I have my dream bike, like the black 83 back there. Like I'd like to throw some. I might throw some mags on it, but like I mean the Grand Prix, it's cool to own. I'm
Yeah,
happy I have
exactly.
an ultra rare bike, but like
Uh-huh.
it's not a
Yep.
it's
No,
not like the dream. It
yep.
was like a cool idea I had, and then like you put it out in you put it out in the world, and shit will find you. Like it will if you're doing the right things, shit will find you. Because I literally said, like everybody knows, I said to Lee a week before, I'm like, dude, I think I might want to get a Grand Prix. A week later, and then I think and then Jason had the guy from Goshen on, and then I hit him up like, hey, dude, if you ever see Grand Prix, just let me know. I
Mhm.
think the next day I saw those Grand Prix in Mound Isle pop up for sale, and I'm like, fuck. And then I sent the ad to Lee as a joke, and he jumped on him. I'm like, you mother. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't talk to Lee about bikes anymore because of no.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. All right. But see, even like I say, I talk about that bike, and now I'm thinking, like, you know, do I really want that bike? It's all. It is a thing. It is the two wheels, but
Yeah.
you know, and there's sentimental stuff behind it. Yes, but then, you know, really, what is that? Really, I want to get it just to hold on to it to make sure that it is sort of kept well, because I feel feeling that it's truly been kept well. So
Yeah.
it's like, God damn it, man! Like, I no, I got because I seen these things at a pristine point, and then just seeing these things just not just fucking fade away because
Yeah.
they've just been sat outside. I'm like, oh, just like, just come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
come on, man. I get you one high that you want, you know, but now at fucking prices of mopeds, holy fuck! Like, you know, I should have fucking gave him $1,500 for it when he
I don't
now
know,
I see
dude. And
shit.
I'm pretty sure I know what bike you're talking about.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it. I
no,
know how ultra rare they are,
yeah,
but it's like
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I don't
It's like,
know. It's I can't say that because I know some people who've
mm,
paid pretty heavily for, like,
yeah,
we'll just say an example, an LTD Magnum,
yeah,
but they were built out, and
yeah.
they're built out by somebody who really knows what they're doing.
Hmm.
And like, okay, I can respect that, but like I'm a cheap Norwegian.
Sure.
Like I'm cheap. Like I
Hmm.
won't yeah, I don't know. Mopeds
That,
mopeds I think are finally getting priced to where everybody's going to hate me. Probably should be. Like
yes and no. I feel there.
they've been undervalued for so long. So long. Like you're like
Yeah,
me, like you know like $100 moped, a $200 moped. Yeah, okay.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
if it runs and moves, it's probably worth 500. I don't know.
yeah. It's just a weird. I feel right now there's crazy shit going on.
Yeah.
I've seen like mid 90s suit or Suburbans, low mileage like mid 90s, 80,000, 100,000, like weird, you know, like weird shit. And so I can see where people are probably throwing shit out there and seeing what fucking sticks at this point.
Yeah.
Hey, if you
But
really
also
like, there's
those
an
are the
ass for every
flippers.
seat. Yeah,
Those
there's
are
an
the
ass for every
flippers
seat.
on marketplace and whatnot. Like people within the moped community, we're not paying that prices to each other.
No, fuck no. And then, you know, and it's weird because I see shit that pops up and it's like just appears like, who the fuck bought this? Like, who in
Yeah.
Phoenix? Who's buying these things? Who's not buying? You know, I've hunted down bikes in a sense because the community in Phoenix is large, you know, but nobody's riding, nobody's buying things. A lot of
Yeah.
people put tweaker peds and stuff of that, you know. People call them DUI peds everywhere else. Tweaker peds here because that's
Yeah.
fucking what's going on. But I remember fucking the general that I have, that green general, that shit popped up and it disappeared. I'm like, oh man, what the fuck? Oh man, and it only wanted, I think it was $500. It was nice, and I was like, all right, you know, all right, it disappeared. And
Yeah.
then later on, I end up finding it because the girl, she couldn't get it running.
Of
Because
course.
just like, you know,
Yeah.
on Reddit or somewhere, I think Jolo was like, hey, I think this girl, she's met, you know, I think she's in Phoenix. And I ended up messaging her and I got it. I was like, all right, well, I got a 1980 83 over here that's running really,
Yeah.
what do you think? You can get this running? You want to trade? You know? And then she ended up trading, and I ended. It was an 83 or whatever. I got it from. I still fucking owe. I still owe you, Zach. I still owe you money. Don't think I don't. It's like moped credit in the community. He ended up moving out east, and if you want to go to a ride, those Brute Squad guys, man, those are
Dude,
the only guys.
they're off the chain. Yeah.
They're the only friends. Those me and Zach, Riddle, again, horrible with last names. I know Zach though. Riser. There's this app called Riser.
Okay.
It's like a Facebook for motorcycle, but it'll track your ride and you can post pictures and stuff like that. And me and him were like the only two moped people on it. And then he ended up moving back, not back east, but he moved east.
What's the app called again? Because I think we're gonna get that taken off. Because I'm gonna have to definitely look it up now. Riser.
Riser. Spell
it for the dyslexic kids in the group.
It's RISER. I'm
okay.
dyslexic.
Like, dude, I just wanted to make sure it didn't have any unique spelling.
No, but it's like a little app, but it tracks you. You can map your ride. There's plenty of mapping things that are out there,
yeah.
But it's like a little deal. You can message, hey, cool ride and shit of that. But those are like my only buddies on this one app. That and Jolo, he rides every so often, but all those guys. But man, if you want to go do something, I feel that stock ride, that Brute Squad ride would be something fun to do.
Right I'm actually installing Riser as we speak. So,
but there's more now moped people because you can have your garage, you can say, you can share it there. It's a full. You can pay for it to where then it does real time things and whatever. But it's another avenue of a little community. Like, hey, all right. But I watch those guys ride around.
Yeah.
I don't. Killing off on that
because I know everybody's always looking for the next good moped, and sorry to go off on a tangent, but like everybody's looking for the next good like route. Does this do route planning at all, or is it like after the route? Or
I think you can after the route. It records it, so it'll record my mileage. It records. You can put like transitions, like hey, bike trail. You can, and I don't pay for it. I'm a cheap bastard. If you pay for it, supposedly, I think it does do a lot of that stuff. It does more mapping, real time, and it can actually do real time displays of where you are if you pay for the app. So there's, it's cool. I've been using it for maybe 4 or 5 years.
I'm definitely gonna have to check into it more.
Yeah, it's something cool. It's for motorcycles, but fuck that. I think at one point when I first did it, there's only like poop. Or like 1 or 2 options in there for mopeds, but it seems like people are adding more.
Well, hopefully, hopefully more people can get in on it because like there's always, and that'd be really rad if we start tracking. Like if we can get now, I'm all thinking about this. Like if we could like start getting a small community going on some app. So like, hey, I'm driving across the country with my bike on the back of my car because I was just at a rally and I'm going into Quincy, Illinois, for example. Oh, there's a route here and blah, blah, blah. And like, it'd be cool just to ride some of these unknown towns. Like, I think.
Oh, for sure.
Cause I'm probably going to go do that on the way home from Nashville. I just picked up Quincy cause like I raced go-karts there once and I gotta go run the park race route. Yeah, dude, that's rad as hell. Thanks for,
because throughout Phoenix, man, my buddies even says, man, where all the bike trails are. I'm like, I'm finding them. I'm searching these things because that's like right now it's like this is fucking mini bike shit. So everybody, if you haven't caught on mini bikes, everybody's on mini bikes.
Oh, dude, there's a huge scene in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's got a huge scene.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, except for St. Paul.
Mopeds. I wish mopeds would have gone that. Like, all right, even like the wheelie, sort of not craze, but it's not a fad either. It's sort of just that offshoot. That culture, man, because I know these guys, Eric and all the people fucking popping wheelies on the moped, but I have to look it up. There's another YouTuber, but he's really big in dirt bike wheeling. But now he has a maxi, and he's been building up his maxi. But this dude has like a huge following. To see like, hey, this guy can influence some people. Man, these kids they're riding dirt bike. Hey, if you got on a moped, you're probably sort of legal to be. But hey, I'm riding. I can ride this thing. But I wish community-wise growth in a sense.
Yeah.
And maybe it would have been cool to see some of that. But everyone has their clicky deal and stuff.
Right on. But dude, yeah, that's cool. I'm really, I'm getting tired, so I apologize, everybody.
No, I know, dude. I can talk if I get going, man.
Dude, I think everybody did. Like, I was just talking to Eric from QCB like last night. And, like, next thing I know, it's like an hour or so later. It's like Eric's like, I gotta go. I'm like, yeah, I was ready to hang up, dude. I gotta go to.
Yeah, exactly. And I think on the story of mopeds in my story, we've gotten to like, all right. The last rally was that San Francisco rally. No, not lose. Magneto rally was the last one I really did. But even like, I'm glad that things are starting to get back going. Exactly. Man, I feel if there's like a big national rally, it should be in the goddamn center of America. I think the geographical center, and then you just put it close to there. So it'd be like, hey, this is the center. So there's no. How long?
There's nobody's claiming it, but everybody's talking like the Daggers is going to be the big one this year. Like at least the spring, because like everybody, like Minnesota, they've got like 10 to 12 riders going to it, and I know Richmond's got 6 or 7 people going to it. Like, and I know some people and I've heard like they've got
how long of a drive is that from where you're at?
13 hours. Which is not a big deal for me. Like I don't mind like once you get up into 18 hours, you're like, okay, I want to be there now. But like, I'll probably load up I'll have everything ready Wednesday, and I'll get off work Thursday, whatever time, and I'll load up and just start driving, get tired, and go to a truck stop and sleep.
Take a nap. Yep.
Yeah.
Man, that should be fun.
Yeah.
Do
you got any rallies you're gonna try to hit this year? I know Denver's talking about doing theirs Labor Day weekend.
Yeah. I've seen that, and I know that's feasible because I think that's like a 10-hour drive. I know the Goat Heads. We were all gonna go to the Goat Heads the first route, and then
COVID.
And then it just didn't work out the second round when it was like, all right, I'm going. Like, all right, fuck, I can't, work schedule and shit of that nature at that point.
Yeah.
But I really want to meet up with those guys. And there's some people I know Wes and Bob Ross and those guys in Vegas. I would love to just try to meet them. I'm like, all right, let's see what they all do. Everyone's shitting on this sort of Southwest area. All right, how as a group, how can we
not shitting? It's just not existent. Like
yes, exactly. It is. But honestly, I've been hit up the past 3 weeks to work on people's bikes that have moved now to here. And there's 2 guys from Chicago that were moved from Chicago to the area that are like, hey man, and do no shit. This is how I find the people. They post their shit for sale and offer up. I'm like, hey man, if you don't want to sell it and ride it, come meet with us.
Yeah, like, dude, that's awesome. No, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I get people pissed at me when I say, why are you selling it, dude? Like there's a whole community.
No. Like exactly.
And I about every 6 months I'll see some people I know who have bikes like, hey, you get that bike running yet? Let's go ride. Like, fuck that, dude. I'm crazy. I don't care. I'll try to get people riding.
No, because it's Phoenix itself, there is people moving. Again, people are buying bikes as things disappear. So I think it'll have its time and it'll have its place. And Phoenix itself, so right now, lane splitting sort of got passed. So there's there's starting to be more motorcycle awareness because there's a lot of people riding. But man, there's fucking idiots out there. I'll tell you. And I try to stay away from big fast roads. I'll stay off, bike trails. Oh, sure, shit. Try to find a paved bike path, and the cops gonna bug me like, "Hey, man, this is way safer than being out there." And, it is what it is. But you just gotta watch out. But I feel it's getting better. It's getting safer, and it should be fun. We'll see. Yeah. I'd be game to host shit and sort of try to do things here. I've always been going back and forth about doing something at the Grand Canyon and doing like a Grand Canyon rally.
Oh my
But
god,
then,
dude, that'd be unbelievable.
yeah, but it's a fucking death march. If you're game for a death march,
Dude, what's your death march? Like
it's 40 miles down one way, and then you're looping around. But it's because it's the Grand Canyon is only this segment of it, but there's a way you can loop and go through Flagstaff and go through like high desert area, which would be truly the death march of what it is.
Like, what's your total route?
I don't know. It could be close to probably 80 miles if you loop through it.
Dude, that'd be if you did it, like, just throwing it out there because I don't want to be that guy, like, but like put like a year in advance, like just say like a year in advance and give people time, because I think that I would fucking hit that rally. Like,
I think it'd be something to do. It would be something cool
because,
to do,
dude, that'd be unbelievable. Like riding around the freaking Grand Canyon, that'd be epic.
And there's only, but see, that's the thing. You're trying. It's a huge fucking. It's a canyon, so it's like, all right, how can I can go this way, and then I can go back this way. So trying to map a loop or sort of that's where things get difficult. You know, I mentioned something with the Go Ahead guys about, hey man, is there a way? Because I looked, you know, I look at maps all day long. I drive a lot for work, and I just look at maps in general. Like, hey man, all right, this looks fun. This looks cool. But I was like, hey man, is there a route to get through 4 corners? Is there a way so you can go through the 4 states and around? And there is a little bit, but there's a chunk that you need to figure out. But I was like, man, that would be cool. Plan around where you just
love the goat heads. Goat heads are they're all like, love them all. Like, they're good folks. And even Jack, the Montucky man himself.
But see, he came. So I met him, and I think.
And I'm busting your balls, Jack. Like, I love Jack.
So when he came, he bought that bus here in Phoenix, and when he came down, we rode, and I think the first time he did some shit, he put in a sterile pipe like in my garage. He was like, "Hey man, I got this shit. Hey, I want to work." I was like, "Hey, come on, let's work on this thing. It's cool. You're here in town," because this was before he got the bus, and he came ride around. He was cool as fuck. You know,
dude, super rad. Like, all those guys, like, they're just super chill, super rad, good food, good people. Like,
and if anybody knows a route, I feel that guy. If you want to plan a a desert rally, that guy probably knows some weird cities. And I've seen some of his stuff there's one video on one of his YouTube channels where it's like a brand paved. It's out in the middle of nowhere. It's like it's a neighborhood that isn't being built out, but it's just like this town. I was like, dude, this would be awesome. Just get everybody out here. You just rip through this road, and it's hilly, winding. I was like, man, I think it'd be fun to do something that is out of the norm of what you know. I was like, all right, let's just figure this out. All right.
Nah, dude, I'm telling you, 2023 Cobra Kings, the Grand Canyon, dude. I'm telling you, that's.
We'll see. Well, I feel.
What's the worst that's gonna happen? 10 people show up.
Yeah,
like that. That's dude. Like, what's like? People talk like. I give so much credit to anybody who even attempts a ride or anybody like, because it's do it, dude. Like, I'm telling you, like, I'll needle you. Like, so how's that Grand Canyon rally coming? Like,
exactly. No, I've always thought if I really wanted to do something, that's what, like, because they'd be like, "Fuck it, I gotta do it." Like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna try to do something that's cool, you know, over the top in a sense. But
because honestly, like, for me, like 80 miles in a day, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Like, I don't mind death march. People call it a death march. No, it's not. The only thing I can see being an issue is like gas. Like,
no, I think a death march is like, all right, for me to not get leveled on this road, I have to ride my bike pinned wide open for now at least 20 minutes. If I can ride my bike wide open pinned for at least 20 minutes, then I'm like, all right, I feel good on it. And that's how, like, here in Phoenix, everything's flat and everything's level, and that's truly, it's just like anything. You should tune the bike to ride wide open.
What's the elevation up there?
I want to say we're at 2,000 or 3,000. I know you start jumping. You get up in the Flagstaff, you're 5,000, 6,000.
Santa Fe, I figured out. And I figured out what fucked me in Santa Fe. I have a Pliny carbs, and for some reason, I have no idea why, I had the wrong air stop in the carburetor. They have, because the Pellinis are made for 2-cycle and 4-cycle. The
Mm-hmm.
4-cycle, they have a separate, like a third jet, if you will. It's called an air
Uh-huh.
brake or air boost. I forget what. And for
Uh-huh.
2-cycle, they need to be stopped. They need to be sealed. Like no
Mm-hmm.
air can go through there. But like they won't, for some reason, Polini will, on their 19 millimeter carbs and up, they'll send it to you sealed up. Like they'll send you a blank, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
On the 17.5, I never checked it. I don't know why. I have no clue. But
Uh-huh.
this one had like one that was, we'll just call it a 30 in there. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what the, like, why?
Yeah.
Like, that was just, so yeah, I was just getting hot like now. And I changed it over the other week, dude. I was rolling on my DR, just, a couple 3 miles wide open throttle, which like I hadn't done that for a minute on that bike. So
Oh
yeah.
man, that's fun. My buddy had the same. I think same. So he had a DR, but then he had just a circuit pipe or something. I
Yep.
get it. I totally understand how it's.
Yeah.
I wrote that there. I was like, man, this shit's fun. My
Yeah.
bad. And this,
Barration, dude.
yeah. But and then it was all stock, but it had all that shit. So then you're like,
Yep.
whoa, shit.
Well, a tall guy like you, I imagine Hobbit wouldn't be that comfortable. Like I get, like
No.
I think I'm right at the edge of comfortability. I think if you're like 5'8" and below, Hobbit's your ride. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. It's just sort of how it sweat yourself in there. But then now I've turned 41 this year. Then all my bikes now have transitioned from like this M bar gear. So I was like,
got
all
her up,
right,
got her up, baby.
all right. I got everything now is this position of riding.
Yeah.
And then my buddy, he just his maxi, same deal. You're like, all right, he rides like this and that. He rode my Tomos, just stock bars, and it's like, man, this is way more comfortable. It's like, no shit, man. If we're gonna ride, the other day I think we did like 40 miles, just a big round, and I was like, dude, this is how you want to ride.
Yep.
You tool around. Yeah. This is not gonna make you go a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Yes and no, but
I think Mike Boyd said once, like, you know how you sit at a computer with your hands right there at the computer desk where that's where you really want your hands for, like on a moped. And I can kind of, within an inch or so of that, but right on. All right, dude, Jason.
Yep.
What is your before I'm trying to be a jerk and wrap up.
Hey,
There's two things.
Yeah, you're trying. Yes.
I want to get this thing edited tonight and get you up in the morning. B,
Okay.
I'm tired. C, I haven't ate yet. And then elemental P, whatever. But like, what's your plans for 2022? Like, I know your family, I know you got that. Like, but like, do you have any like things you'd like to do in mopeds this year?
Yeah, in the moped, just honestly ride more. I want to get together more and get people around, just riding in general. There's BK is a new kid. He's 18. He's a kid. It's like Billy the kid. It's good to see that and to see his like fucking like, oh yeah, this motherfucker already put up HPI, fucking 4-pedal fucking he already built out his bike. He's like, yeah, this is all and he's mechanical. He works with Don at his shop, so he's all into it. But it's good to see the younger generation. And there's one of the guys from Chicago, his son, I think it's like 16 or 17, and they're tooling around on their maxi, stuff like that. And there's another person with her and her son, I think, has been dicking around with mopeds.
Awesome.
Sort of trying to help that out, facilitate that as much as my garage can't facilitate. I'm trying to find a space. So 2023, a community space that we all can get together would be what I'm trying to do. That and just ride.
Yeah, dude, that's rad. That's rad. Dude, that makes me excited for the scene in the Southwest. Like, it's just that I don't know anything about. Like, and I know there's a scene everywhere, but like, I know the Goat Heads, they're freaking rad. They got a shop space there in Santa Fe. Like, super cool city. Super cool people. The
community is not huge, but there's the people that ride and they enjoy riding. So power numbers also.
Exactly. And it's the thing about it is, dude, if you got like it's the snowball effect. I mean, I know you guys are in the desert, but like, one thing builds upon another, dude.
Yes. And then that's the biggest push right now that we're doing, honestly, as a group on Sundays, is just getting out there. Like,
Mhm.
you have to get out. We have to get out there and just be seen, even if you don't know how many. Holy shit! Oh yeah, that sort of attitude and that community and that sort of awareness or presence in a
Mhm.
city. You just have to put it out there. That's
Oh,
all
dude, you
support
should see
really
the
comes.
gawkers we get in Minneapolis, St. Paul, dude. When there's a big on Thursdays when there's a group ride, like,
Uh,
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
great.
like, well, what is that? And that's like that's what's moped. And no shit, I remember one night. This will be the last story I have.
Nah, dude.
Cruising downtown, and me and a couple guys, me, Donovan, it's like two of the people cruising, and there's this old classic car.
Mhm.
Cat, we're pulling up to us. Oh, check this shit out. I'm cruising out, look over, it's like, fuck, that's fucking Frankie Muniz. That's fucking Frankie Muniz. And he's staring at us, and I'm staring at him, and I just want to be like, hey man, you want to get on it? Like, because I think he would totally be the guy that's sort of getting into it and sort of whatever. But because he was an old car, I'm just like, oh, that's my one star moment of like, I almost got him. I think I almost had Frankie Muniz. Like Malcolm in the middle. He was about to come fucking ride mopeds with us.
Yeah, dude. That's rad. Um, Jason, I can't thank you enough for coming on Second Chance Moped Podcast. Definitely, dude. You ever find your way in Minnesota? Hit me up. I'll get you on a dirty Hobbit. We'll cram your tall self on there. We'll go right around the city, tear it up. You're always you and your family ever find yourself, you always got a place to stay, even though you got a million points of hotel stays and all that.
Well, I've used all that shit up, so I will take you up on that.
Yeah, dude, I got a big house. Don't worry. Yeah, everybody, thank you so much. I didn't say at the top of the show, somehow this podcast has turned 2 years old.
Yeah. And I want to commend you for that. I want to say thank you before I get off and all that. I want to say thank you for that. Just for putting this together and just putting it out there, because there needs to be more. Just fucking put it out there.
Yeah.
With Maze and YouTube, just fucking put this shit out there, man.
Yeah, dude. Exactly, dude. Like, I get so much enjoyment listening to Moped Monday. And I hope people get enjoyment on mine, dude. Like, Jason and Thomas and I know Ashley, they don't do it anymore. Those guys have shown me so much love. Like, I can't thank the whole Richmond community enough. I can't. The Zeros, like, they're supposed to be. We had some kerfuffles. They might be doing chase for me for Bakers, but now might not because some dates for can't get off of work. We'll see what happens there. But like, it's a moped community. They just embrace, like, I feel so lucky, and that's what I can say. There's been a few hiccups in the road with this thing, like, but it's like anything else. If you stay committed to it, good things will happen. Just like, mopeds and meeting people, and you never know where life's going to bring you. Yeah. Jason, you want to shout out your club's Instagram?
Cobra Kings on Instagram. There's a Facebook page. If you ever fucking want to go, you can add. I'll add you to it. It's like, honestly, how I lurk. I'm like, all right, it looks like he's moped. Yep, okay. Just fucking, the Instagram and truly that. That's about it.
Dude, that's awesome. You guys I'm glad to hear that people are keeping moped scene alive there and trying to grow it a little bit. Thank you so much for coming on and working with me with times. I know we had the West Coast Central time.
What time is, Jeff? Come on, just give me a time. I just need a note.
Well,
Arizona. I will give it Arizona. I don't know what time zone I'm in because we don't change our time, and then I do, and also the stuff I do for work. I do commercial lighting controls for buildings. So setting time zones in certain areas, I have to do some trickery shit sometimes to get this. I don't even know. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Time is just an illusion created by man. So right on.
I won't say no more about that, Chip.
I think you and I can have some deep conversations someday.
We can talk for hours if you want to do this again another day.
Oh, dude, I keep on meaning like. I've been telling like so many of these my guests, like, I gotta have you back, and I really need to have a comeback show. Like, I'm not doing 2 days a week. But speaking of which, Maitland Kelly's gonna be on. He's gonna be. I'm gonna do a special for the Baker's Dozen as well. But yeah, Jason, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Don't forget, my guy. Mopeds are dumb. All right, thank you.